Welcome to the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Monday, January 30th. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've seen definitely a decrease in precipitation with high pressure really building over the Great Basin most days. We have had some northern slider systems drop down and affect parts of the eastern half of the Great Basin, bringing some precipitation mainly to Utah, eastern Idaho, and into the Arizona Strip. Otherwise, central Idaho and western Nevada, or much of Nevada, really remain on the drier side the last couple of weeks. Over the last 72 hours, we have had some new snowfall, especially across Idaho, Wyoming, down into Utah, and then still some light snowfall with the weak cold front or the strong cold front that brought at least light amounts of snowfall to areas of western and southern Nevada. The snow depth is indicated on the right, so snowpack still doing very well across the Great Basin with a wet couple of months through the winter, so well above normal snowpack for Nevada, Utah, and Arizona, and near normal or just above normal further north. The satellite loop from this morning shows that strong cold front that moved through yesterday through the northern half of the Great Basin and will continue pushing eastward, so we will have much colder temperatures across the Great Basin along with some light precipitation. So for today, again, that system continues to slide south. Obviously, low significant fire potential region-wide. Winds will be breezy today over the southern half of the Great Basin as this cold front continues to push south and east with low to moderate mixing heights. Relative humidity will still remain above 30% region-wide. Again, very cold temperatures. Dispersion will be good over the southern areas of the Great Basin with those gustier winds and poor up north. As we move into Tuesday, this cold front continues to push south and east into the southwest. We will see some clouds overspilling the ridge out ahead of the next system across northern areas going into Tuesday, but still looks like relatively dry conditions and continued low fire potential. Transport winds on Tuesday will be strongest over far southern areas, with lighter winds over much of Nevada, Utah, into southern and central Idaho, and mixing heights generally low region-wide. Relative humidity will drop a little bit with the dry air pushing in to southern California and southern Nevada. However, still no concerns with this lower humidity and generally good dispersion in the far south with these gustier winds. As we move into Wednesday, the ridge rebuilds, so we will have some clouds up north, again moving over the top of the ridge, but otherwise drier conditions and temperatures will be on the upswing after these very cold conditions early this week. Transport winds will be decreasing, still a little bit breezy in the south, but generally low to moderate with low mixing heights. Relative humidity on Wednesday be very similar to what we'll see on Tuesday, and generally good dispersion only in far southern Nevada, otherwise poor dispersion elsewhere across the Great Basin. Again, temperatures with this cold front are very cold early this week. We'll see highs on Monday only in the 20s and teens across much of the area with the exception of the far south, and even up over parts of central and eastern Idaho into Wyoming, highs only in the single digits. We will see a dramatic warm-up going into Wednesday. Really, Monday and Tuesday are the coldest temperatures. By Wednesday, we'll still see cold temperatures over the eastern side of the Great Basin, but at least highs will make it into the teens and 20s, and we will see 40s out west. With these cold daytime temperatures, overnight lows will be very cold, with many lows in the single digits or below zero. The only exception is in the far south, where we'll see temperatures again near freezing, which is obviously very cold for southern areas. By Thursday morning, we will again continue to see those temperatures gradually warm through the middle of the week. We will still see some cold temperatures near zero or in the single digits over far eastern areas of Idaho into Wyoming. Elsewhere, we'll see most areas in the teens or 20s. So again, still very cold temperatures for the time of year. Forecast clearing index for Utah, we will see good clearing indices over southern Utah today with those gustier transport winds, and then we will see those clearing indices decrease as we go towards the middle of the week, and high pressure builds in with lighter winds. The only precipitation over the next few days will be over southern areas of the Great Basin as this cold front pushes through, otherwise drier conditions through mid to late week. By Thursday, we will see the next system approaching the west coast, so will be a difference from these colder northern systems that are dropping south. This will be more of a Pacific system, so not quite as cold, and bring a little bit more precipitation to some areas. Dispersion will remain poor, however, on Thursday under the ridge and lighter winds. As we move into Friday, this system off the Pacific moves across the Great Basin, so we will see clouds and occasional showers move across the area, with also an increase in winds and better dispersion, especially for the western half of the Great Basin. On Saturday, this system exits to the east with another trough off the west coast, so we're back into the pattern of every few days another system moves in off the Pacific, bringing us at least some precipitation, cloud cover, and an increase in winds. And by Sunday, this system moves into the western and northern half of the Great Basin and then moves across the area into early next week. Precipitation going from Thursday through early Saturday is fairly light, but you can see the 7-day total precip. Generally, precipitation early this week with the cold front over southern areas and then moving into western and northern areas with the next systems. Obviously, these systems coming off the Pacific are much weaker than what we saw in December and January, so no atmospheric river events on the horizon, but at least will bring some precipitation and unsettled weather for a couple of days every few days as these systems move through. The 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from February 6th through the 12th, shows colder and wetter conditions, especially for the southern and eastern areas with respect to moisture and generally cold temperatures region-wide for the time of year. That concludes our webcast for this morning. Check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.